Chilling. Cheers, have a good ride. They're heading off to Portland, classic destination for the hipsters. I will not be. I'll be heading into the heat and sweat of Idaho.
I give the people what they want. We've been trill since 89. I don't rush this, I just bust this, work my rhythm, take my time. I've been backing down bullies, I got this game by the neck. I got these quarters and counties, we up, just call me collect. Yup, there you go, paid up, Chef Curry layup.
What's up, guys? Just as you can see, made it to Leavenworth, the Bavarian village. Welkom. I would love to get a little frosty while I'm here. So these guys have a big beer fest every year, and I have buddies and cousins that all come to it and dress up with their lederhosen and stuff, which makes me think it's German. I don't know if the Dutch do that. Anywho, Ritterhof. I don't know. It could be Dutch, could be German. Who knows? This is not. I'm not a tour guide. I just like traveling places. Check out old Gustav's. Looks pretty badass, isn't it? There's a tap room right there. Loving it. At this point, I think, based on the large amount of people hanging around, I need to find a campsite in a quick hurry. Otherwise, I'm going to be right decked. And to be honest, I don't think I'm far enough down the track to set up camp yet. And so I'm going to have a hell of a ride tomorrow if that is the case, and I'd rather have a bit of energy tomorrow to party.
I found my time again. I found the full wall. We're starting fresh again and going out in style.
Heading to Hammer Foreman today, pumped. Such a cool little hotel. Although it's just a Holiday Inn, look how nice it is. Probably should have stayed there. I'm going to take you past this bar I went to last night. It was gangsta. It was super cool. Nice taco place. Mexican. Well, it was a Mexican place that played Jamaican music, so I think it was a little bit confused. But you know, whatever, multicultural and all that. I'm going to a little place called Spaceman Coffee, so I thought that sounded pretty awesome. Check it out. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing, folks. Could it be this one right here? There it is right there. Beauty. I am leaving Spokane and heading for Hammer Performance. Oh yeah, doggy. Super stoked. Massive stoke. Oh boy. Care. I'm just gonna say this just this one time. In this town, there are some four-way intersections with 0 lights or stop signs. Like, I had a serious confusing time, and I think a car thought I was mad at it, but I was just like, hey, I don't know whose turn it is, because I don't know who has the right of way. It was just super weird. And like here, there's no road lines, so who knows? Oh, there's a faint one there. It just looks like it's, I don't know, whoever's managing this town sucks. Anyways, it's a super cool town, other than the shitty road work. So, and I was talking to the coffee shop owner this morning. He was saying a lot of people, especially young people, are moving back from Seattle and from Portland to Spokane because it's so much cheaper to live down here. So they're all moving back from the hipster cities and kind of making this place hipster, which is pretty banging. It's cool. It's a very conservative town, so I think they're going to probably face some angst, but that's good. It's growing. The coffee shop I was in was it was owned by a lesbian couple and a dude. I don't know if he is gay, straight, otherwise. Who cares? Yeah. So, having said all that, I think So I asked him straight up. I said, well, what's it like in this town? And he said, well, it's a very conservative town, but thus far it's gone really well. Like they hang the pride flag in the window, and that's so it's always interesting for me to note, like, you know, where are more progressive ideas accepted, and where are they not? And it seems like Spokane's on a good track. Good track just to allow people to be people and do whatever they want, because it's their life, not yours, so fuck off. Having said all that, I am going to Idaho, which I've been informed is a good hangout for the Ku Klux Klan guys. So it would be pretty funny to see some guys dressed as ghosts, and I would like to actually see that in real life, because it almost seems like a surreal thing in 2018, but I know there's still bigots and idiots out there, so we shall see. If you can't tell, I'm pretty outspoken about my belief that everyone should be able to do whatever they want, and I think freedom of speech has limitations, and one of those limitations should be when your speech is hate speech, it shouldn't be allowed, and that's the end of it. I'd say I'm going to get deep on this conversation right now. I'm a recovering racist. And the reason why I say that is I grew up in a place called South Africa, which is probably the world's most known racist country. We had a seriously bad history. But South Africa, quick history lesson for you here from a very uneducated history person. And because they didn't teach this history in school, let me be clear, they taught us about the Boer War and all the history that happened before apartheid. They never taught us about apartheid, which is fairly amazing. And I think I took history to grade 10. Pieces of land and designated it. This is white's land, that's black's land, that's colored land, that's Indian land, that's... So I need to just qualify this for people, because you call someone colored in the States, it's a race. I think it's a racist term for a black person. In South Africa, colored means mixed race. And it's typically black mixed with white mixed race. So just to clear the language up and set the stage, that would, so there was a whole bunch of differentiation, and then something called apartheid happened. I believe the height of apartheid was in the 80s. So I'm born in 1983, and I distinctly remember one of the guys that worked for my family in the garden got beat up by the police badly, like badly beaten up, because he wasn't in a black zone by nightfall. And so you'd have to have like a passport, like a little pass book that allowed you to come and be in the city to work. If you didn't have one of those, you weren't issued one of those, you were never allowed to be in a white zone. Or another zone. You probably, I think there was a complete restriction of movement. You couldn't be in another black zone. You had to be in your designated black zone. Not exactly sure of all of the stuff there. So you were brought up, taught like, yep, black people do the cleaning in the home and the gardening. I still grew up in a place where it was like, oh, you're going to go and play soccer in the fields just like other kids, and your parents or someone else would say to you, well, just make sure you don't touch them, because they might have diseases or whatever. It was just like, since you were a kid, you always like had this different plane that you sort of lived on and survived on, and it's just like a really, really, really sad way to grow up. And like I wish I had more close black friends, to be honest. Like I'm tearing up in my helmet here because of like you feel pain for those missed opportunities, and just like I always had a big heart for the poor. That was something, but just to see another person as an equal is one of those fundamental like human things that I just missed out on. And I was raised by a black lady. My mom went off to work, and she raised me from when I was 3. She still works for my family. She's currently she looks after my sister's kids. And she is just like, she was the confidant. Like if I couldn't bring something to my parents because I was scared or get in trouble or whatever, like she knew everything. She knew all about my life. Like, and she's part of the family. But there's always like this invisible line where, you know, she feels awkward to like sit at the dinner table with us, and it's like an invite thing, and it's weird. Like, so every time I'm back there, I just make sure, like, I just include her in everything that we do, that like, to try and, you know, break that a little bit. Like, yeah. So growing up in South Africa was a really weird thing, and it's all everyone that that I'm close to, you know, all my friends from high school and whatever, guys that never left, like still harbor this hate or resentment towards people just because of their skin color, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Naysayers always want the good to fail. They run